So I was working with him for a while.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, brother. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you.
All righty. Perfect. All right. Let's get started.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to EDJ Studios. This is the EDJ podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a special guest, Luke, the Quiet Storm.
Iannuccilli.
There we go. I'm going to get it before this is on. Oh,
It's tough when if you don't know it, but if I say it and you look at it and sound it out, Iannuccilli, it makes sense.
Exactly.
It's the double C's at the end that messes everybody up.
I was reading and I'm like, I'm not going to get this. Let me not try it.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I say it correctly. There's probably some Italian way to say it.
And they'll be like, it's different.
I'm sure the way we say Iannuccilli is Americanized, but that's how we say it.
Hey, I like it.
Yep.
So, on the way up to the studio, I was asking, how long you been in boxing?
Since I was 13. It's been a long time, man.
That's what's up. And you told me you kind of just stumbled into it. How did that go?
When I was a little kid, I always liked boxing. My uncle always had boxing on at his house. I always liked boxing movies, fighting movies. So even before I did it, I was always like seeing it, being around it, liked it, watched it in movies, stuff like that.
You were interested.
Saturday nights at my uncle's house, he would have pay-per-view fights. So, it was completely random. Just one summer, at my uncle's house, I asked my dad, I said, hey, I want to start boxing. And naturally, my uncle being a fan, he already kind of knew what gyms were in the area. So my dad said, all right, enjoy the rest of your summer. When it's over, we'll go look for gyms. So my uncle pointed us in the right direction. And our first gym we walked into was Lawtown Boxing Gym in Lawrence, Mass. And I've been there ever since. So
nice.
13 years old. I'm 28 now. So it's been a long, long time.
Nice, man. And usually I ask these questions to fighters because it usually comes either your dad was a boxer, it's in the family some type of way, or you got your ass kicked and you were like, hey, listen, I need to learn something. Yeah. And you go to a gym and you fall in love with it. For you, it's just on your own. So you're kind of the first one in the family.
Yeah, I mean, no one did anything like professionally, but I mean, I did come from like a tough family. I like always, taught to stand up for myself, stuff like that. So, no one fought, but just me being a fan of the sport, movies, stuff like that, seeing pay-per-view fights, it intrigued me. Being a fan of like the Rocky movies, like a lot of people. Yeah. So it was just something that caught my attention as a young kid, and I was like, I want to do it.
And you're Italian, bro. It's kind of in your genes, man.
I guess so.
There's been a few Italian boxers.
Yep.
Especially, I believe some from the area. Did you get any inspiration from, Lowell, Boston, the area? We do have a fighting history in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I mean, nothing in particular. I mean, obviously,
it was a little bit past, those the older days.
Obviously, like a lot of people from New England, like Mickey Ward is well known, and then they came out with the Fighter, the movie talking about his life.
Blew it back up, yeah.
Obviously, only a couple that probably came out a few years into me boxing. So obviously, I was still fairly young. That gave me a little bit of motivation. And then I had some, being in my gym, there was a lot of pro fighters older than me. So seeing them fight and me being an amateur kind of motivated me and like, I can't wait till I get to that stage. So inspiration came from different places.
Nice. Man, listen, boxing is a tough gig. So I give anybody that does it, I give the ultimate praise.
It only gets harder the older you get, man. I say it all the time. I look back and didn't realize how good I had it when I was in school. I'm like, don't we all? All I had to do was go to school, come home, that's it, and then I could train. Now that I'm like working full time, all these years, I'm like, I'd give anything to just go sit at a desk again and then come train.
Come home, exactly. Yeah, the good old days. And the funny part is everybody complains about it while we're in it,
Yep.
And then boxing is tough. Not everybody has the privilege to come from a wealthy family and just, dedicate themselves to boxing and not worry about the day-to-day things, paying the bills and taking care of the family. Yeah, you have to be a boxer, a pro boxer, not just a regular boxer, a pro boxer and a working man.
Yeah, you got to be mentally committed because you're going to have a lot more bad days than good days with everything. Like whether it's a bad day in the gym on top of carrying, um, if you have other
Family
stuff
issues.
going on in life, you're gonna have a lot more bad days than good days. So you just gotta have a good head on your shoulders and just be mentally focused to see the end game. You just can't let one bad day, take everything away.
And it's your passion.
Yeah,
I don't think you don't play boxing. The saying, as the saying goes.
exactly. Yeah,
So you have to have a real passion to do it.
definitely.
If you don't have the passion to do it, a few punches to the face, and you're out of the gym.
I mean, everything. Like you work 40 hours a week. I mean,
More sometimes.
yeah, you work 40 plus hours a week. You're tired. You go to the gym every single day. You're sore just from training, and you get a good couple sparring sessions in. You're a little, if it was hard sparring session, now you're a little beat up. You're sore from that. You might have took a couple hard hits, or you might have had an off day and got worked a little more than usual. There's so many variables that
Go into it.
yeah, there's so many variables that just make you like question it. But yeah, it's definitely it's not for everybody. I know.
Exactly. If not, everybody would do it. Everybody likes the glory, right?
Absolutely.
I always say this: you could be a famous movie star, you could be whatever you want to be, and a lot of people have said it. The minute a fighter comes into the room,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting the most attention, no matter no matter who's in there. It could be the president, it could be whoever. A fighter walks into the room, all the attention is going to you guys, and there's a good reason for that. You guys are taking crazy chances with your life, basically. So you started when you were 13. When did you go pro? Did you have a long amateur career or no?
Yeah, not really. So I kind of had for a boxer, I kind of had a unorthodox kind of career. Like, so I started when I was 13. I didn't really have too many amateur fights. I think I might have had maybe like 11 or 12. And then as I got older, like when I graduated high school, I went to college in Florida. So that was 2.5 years away. I took off, and then I came home. I was home for about 9 months. So I was in the gym. I fought a couple more times amateur, and then I got an opportunity to go out to California for some business stuff. So again, that was a little time away from boxing, and then finally when I moved back to Mass. Anytime I was away, anytime I came home to visit, I was always back in the gym, always visiting my team, stuff like that. So as soon as I came back to Mass, I knew I was going to go back to the gym, and but I wasn't really sure.
If you were gonna go like pro,
Yeah, I wasn't really sure if I was going to go pro. I wasn't really sure like what my career was going to look like, but I did know what really set it off was I told myself I've been doing it for so long. I've been doing it since I was 13 years old, and it was like I put so much time into it. If I didn't at least go pro and try to get at least one or two fights, everything would kind of feel like a waste, Even if the way
regret will kick in.
the way I looked at it was even if I got like one or two fights and that was it, at least I could say I did it. All those years I spent training and everything, like it was worth it. It was for something. So came
You wanted
back.
to test yourself too.
Yeah, so I came back, started training. I have a good team, good coaches. One of my coaches' sons actually manages me, so all the pieces fell into place. We got a fight. I ended up winning that fight in the third round with the knockout. So we started off great, and then we've just been on a consistent track ever since. And I'm kind of just going full throttle. We've been on a good run, and putting everything I have into it, and just see where it goes.
Nice. You just won your eighth fight?
Seventh
fight.
Yep.
I was there. I missed it though. I got there around 8:45. I think you already have fought by then.
Yeah, I think I fought about 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I was like,
That was the first fight.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm still learning how everything works.
Well, it's funny you say that because we were talking about that fighting first. It's great for me because I'm in and out, but for the fans, it's kind of iffy because everyone's always like, oh, what time should I get there? Do you know when you're going on? People are getting out of work, so it's tough. So good for me, but yeah, in your case, you missed it. But
yeah, I thought you were gonna fight towards the end.
Yeah.
You Gabi,
Gabby, Harry.
and Harry.
Yeah.
So I was bummed out. I was like, shit, I missed that. I got to see Gabi fight.
Yep.
And then I missed Harry's and yours. I was like, oh man, but I know you won.
Mm-hmm.
I know Harry took the decision didn't go his way.
Yeah, but he put on a hell of a show.
Yes,
I told Harry after the show, I said, look at dude, you have nothing to hang your head about. You put on an absolute great performance,
Yes.
dog. You know, he got dropped with the body shot in the 6th. 90% of people don't even get up from those shots. Yeah. Not only did he get back up, but he got hit with it again and continued to fight all the way to the 8th round, went to decision. I'm like, dude, don't hang your head. You have nothing to be sorry for, nothing to be ashamed for. I say it all the time, you can win ugly and lose pretty.
Yes.
And you lost, but you showed everyone in that division that if they fight you, you aren't going away easy. They're going to be in for a long night.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He's a warrior.
And he wasn't going up against a slouch either. You know, Michael Hahn was 18-2. It was a test for Harry, and he proved everything.
Correct.
To me, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. It was a show. And that's at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants to see.
Exactly.
And like you said, a lot of people don't get up from those body shots.
No.
We've seen it with Ryan Garcia,
Yep.
and that, you know. Those are tough. It kind of happened with Gabi. At least I thought Gabi dropped his opponent in like the first or second round with a body shot.
Yeah, when I saw it at first, I thought initially, all right, it's over. The kid's not getting up, and it didn't look low. No. To me, it didn't look low.
Yeah, no.
But I don't know. I'm not the ref. I wasn't in there. But
he got the decision anyway, so
yeah, whatever he hit him with, it hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've sparred Gabi more times than I can count.
Tough kid.
Yeah, he's got some power for his weight division. So
exactly. Yeah, he's a tough kid, fast.
Yep.
What weight division do you fight in? Because you look big.
So this fight was a catch weight. My first 6 fights were all at super welterweight, which was 154, and then when we were approached for this fight, they asked us, or his Ryan Clark's team asked us if we would do the fight at 160. So we agreed. So it was a catch weight, 160, or I guess you could call it middleweight. So yeah, it was heavier than, just a few pounds heavier than my first 6 fights.
How's weight cutting for you? Do you cut any weight, or are you comfortable?
So when I fight, normally, if I fight at 54, I cut weight, but
you're big, bro. You look big.
I think it's all an illusion. Cause I'm fairly like low body fat, so I think the illusion of I have a lot of definition, so it makes me look bigger than I am.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're fighting at least 160 and up. That's what I thought.
So when I walk around in the 60s, you know, when I'm staying in shape, like if I'm in the gym consistently eating normal, I walk around in the 60s, and then I'll cut to 154, which isn't too bad. But for this fight, the last fight I had at 160, it was beautiful. Like I didn't have to cut any weight. I just worked out normal, ate normal, like day of weigh-ins. I wasn't starving myself, so I felt great.
How did you like it? You felt strong?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I walk around at. That's what I train at. That's what my body's used to. So it's like, I've always said, it's funny about boxing. I can't believe there hasn't been any changes, because for the past 100 years of boxing, everybody knows it doesn't matter what they step on the scale at. All these fighters are coming in heavier than what they step on the scale. Yes. So it makes absolutely no sense. So to me, I walk around in the 60s. I train in the 60s. That's what I'm used to. So I just felt good. The fact that I didn't need to like dehydrate myself and then try to rehydrate, it was just normal. Normal day eating, normal day of sleep. It was just, I felt great.
Yeah, that's tricky. And, you know, a lot of famous people say, Joe Rogan and all these people say, you know, that's a form of cheating, basically. Because you have all these big dudes draining themselves to get to a lower weight, and then they're 20, 30 pounds.
I mean, if you can do it, I mean, more power to you. But
because it's not easy, right? So
definitely not, and it's dangerous too. Because your brain is the first thing your body pulls water from, right? And
yes, I read something about that. Your brain is the first organ to lose water.
Yeah.
So
And
You get hit in the head. You get hit in the head. That's
I mean,
dangerous.
I'm not a scientist. I don't like so. Don't take my word on it, but to me, there's absolutely no way that your body fully recovers and rehydrates in 24 hours. So it's like, especially these fighters that are cutting a lot of weight and you're pulling all that, fluid from your brain, you're going into a sport where the main target is your head and your brain is dehydrated and you're getting hit in the head. That's dangerous, man.
Yeah, I read something about when you lose water, your brain swells up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I don't know the science behind it, but I said, I can't imagine that you 100%
No, sorry.
rehydrate and heal.
Yeah, sorry. So
24
it
hours.
shrinks a little bit because of the loss of water. So it gives your head more room, your brain more room to wiggle in there or something like that.
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, if
Makes
that
sense.
it makes sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, because you see a lot of guys getting knocked out.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And I mean, like I said, more power to the people that could do it. It is part of the game, something that everybody has to adjust to.
Yep.
Everybody has to deal with it. So I guess it's kind of not cheating.
So I did on the subject, like that's why aside from like his dedication and stuff, I think that's why Mayweather was so great because he just fought at what he walked around at. He didn't cut weight. He didn't go like he trained, fought everything at 154. I mean, he fought 47 early in his career, but he fought at what he walked around at. So it's like he was never drained, never tired. Not it's just I think that's what helped him so much. And then you see these guys that cut and wait to fight him, and then a little sluggish in the fight, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, best I think to me one of the greatest, if not the greatest ever boxer. There's a lot of debate, and of course there's a lot of. If you mention some of the other greats, I'm not going to argue with you, but the fact that this guy never even got hurt. I mean, in 2 fights I think he got hurt, but other than that, the guy, and that's the name of the game. Hit and not get hit, right?
People, no matter what you do, people are always gonna hate, but
say something
and have excuses or something to say. But
it's boring.
At the end of the day, 50 people tried, 50 people lost, and
and it wasn't even close.
The majority of his last, like I want to say, like 20 fights were, I mean, elite guys.
Exactly.
Whether you thought they were past their prime or whatever, they were still top guys.
They were still at the top of the heap in the game. So,
And like you said, regardless if they were past their prime, Mayweather's never been hurt. He's never been, or at least not that he showed. He's never been on the canvas.
Exactly. You can't. And a lot of people say boring. If you love boxing like I do, that's a sweet science.
Never mind no losses. Take that out of the equation. Just to fight 50 people and not even go down or get hurt or anything, that's impressive in itself.
Exactly. And he fought Canelo, he fought whatever, Young or whatever. He made him go down in weight or whatever, but still he fought Canelo Alvarez, and it was child's play.
Yep.
Who's your favorite fighter? Since we're talking about fighters, who's your favorite fighter, or who you like to maybe not emulate, but who you draw inspiration from?
I think that changes as time goes on. I take inspiration from different people at different moments, like watching different fights and seeing people do different things. It kind of motivates me to emulate certain things. I think that's the beauty about fighting is you got to be able to adapt, right? Yep. So if you can get good at certain things and emulate certain people and take little tricks here and there, that's what makes you great. Like my obvious, some of the people I love are kind of obvious that a lot of people like I love Roy Jones Jr. Yeah. I love Mike Tyson. Yeah. But then you got some new age guys that like Lomachenko, like just the way he cuts angles and does certain things and picks his punches, or Shakur Stevenson, how disciplined he is. Just certain people take things away. Like watching Pitbull Cruz, how he's so tight, keeps hands are always by his chin. Doesn't never puts them down. He walks people down. Just I take little
like Mike Tyson, kind of
Yeah.
like Mike Tyson, the little peekaboo style.
Yep.
Just go forward.
It's just certain fights, certain people. Like a good example is I remember watching Devin Haney versus George Kambosos the first time they fought.
Yep.
After watching that fight, that made me want to go to the gym and practice jabs for 10 hours. Because the way Devin Haney threw jabs that whole fight was so fast and so, like, on point, kept them away. Like, it was picture perfect.
Yeah,
like,
he didn't,
perfect technique.
He didn't let Gambosa's like established range or get anything off. It was
when
just,
you see someone do something the right way and with such like finesse, when you see someone do something and they make it look easy, it makes you want to go do that. Like,
it makes you want to try it, but it's hard to replicate. Everybody saw Mayweather do the whole Philly shoulder roll thing, and then everybody tried to emulate it, but it doesn't work for whatever reason.
I love a saying. One of my favorite sayings is, "There's not a perfect style. It's about perfecting your style."
Correct.
It's
a great
doing
saying.
what you feel like works for you, but just perfecting it, working on it. Because think of how many different styles there are in boxing, or I should say, how many different champions have different styles, but they're all champion. You know what I mean? It works for them.
Yeah, and everybody has a different physique. Everybody has a different advantages. Some people got, quick reflexes, quicker than others. Some people got that one punch knockout. Some people got, I think Mayweather's beauties and his most special skill, natural skill, is his reflexes. I mean, you can't copy that.
The beauty of Mayweather is him learning how to frustrate people and capitalize on their mistakes.
Correct. Is his timing too? He has great timing. His counter punching. Again, that guy is perfect. If you want to see a perfect boxer or perfect boxing skills, that's who you want.
Yeah, if you really pay attention to Mayweather in his later career, his punch output or his volume, it's really not that high. No. It's just the punches that he does throw are accurate.
Yep,
he's not throwing crazy 4 or 5 punch combinations. He's not throwing a million punches around. You're lucky if Mayweather throws like 20 to 30 punches around, but they're accurate.
They're
and he makes them
target.
Count. Yeah.
Your fighting style. How would you describe your fighting style? I haven't gotten to see you fight. I've seen some highlights, but it's different than watching a whole fight. Are you more of a finesse fighter, a power puncher? You always going forward? You counter puncher? What do you think? Or you do a little bit of all of it?
I think I try a little bit of all of it. I think I'm still learning, more and getting better. And I think when my younger days, my amateur days, I was just a
dog.
Flat foot, head forward, Rocky style. Just walk into a brawl, hit and be hit. But then as time went on and I started, perfecting my technique and getting better and learning more and working on defense and stance and stuff like that, I try to be as technical as I can in a fight. And if it gets to a point where I hurt someone or I notice something, I try to capitalize. But I try to work on everything because the biggest thing in a fight is being able to adapt. If you're doing something and it isn't working, change it up. Or if you're working on being on the outside and the person's just bullying you to the ropes and wants to make it dirty, you got to be comfortable there. And I think my background, or I should say my past, being that Rocky style fighter going hit for hit, I think that helped me in a way. I think that helped me now because that's where I come from. That's like my background, sitting in the center of the ring and just, duking it out. So I'll try to be technical and stay away and play the chess match and box. But if someone wants to take it there, that's where I came from. Exactly. I'm comfortable. If you want to go there, I'm not afraid to go there. Rather than versus someone who right from day one started working on their technique and boxing. And then if someone wants to bully them, they're like, I don't know what to do.
Then they get scared.
They get thrown
don't
off.
want nothing to
Yeah,
do
they
with
get
it.
thrown off the game. They don't know how to fight inside. So the more I perfect and work on the craft and the chess game and being technical, the better off I'll be, because I'm not afraid to sit in the phone booth and be in the pocket and trade with you. But if I can prevent that, I have the best of both worlds, you know?
It's kind of like you have that dog in your back pocket.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to rely on that.
No.
But I do have it there.
Yeah, I don't want to take unnecessary punishment,
Exactly.
but if you think you're gonna bully me and get in that phone booth and break me down, it's not gonna happen, because that's where I come from. That's my first love. That's what I know. So I am not afraid to take a hit to give a hit. You know.
I think that's the best way when you have that first, just because you learn all the skills as you go.
Yeah.
That kind of that dog in you, you kind of born with that, or you're not, basically.
Well, what's funny is I know you said you didn't get a chance to see my fight. That's kind of how this fight went. Was I started off trying to box, and it was pretty obvious that my skill, my technique was better than my opponent. So he was kind of just throw that big overhand right for the majority of the fight, and then about halfway through, his game plan switched to just, come at me full force, bully himself into me. So I took my thought was, all right, if this kid's gonna just try to throw the big overhand, most likely if I'm trying to box and I'm on the outside, it's more of a chance of that overhand right landing than if I'm, forehead to forehead. So I for the rest of the fight, it was forehead to forehead, and we just sat in the phone booth and, kind of dogged it out.
Nice. I know you wanted the decision.
Yeah.
I seen you knock out some people. But I think you got a knockout him when you guys went to Florida, right?
Yep. Second round.
Yeah. How do you guys? I wanted to watch that fight, but it was also a little bit tough to figure out where to watch it.
Yeah.
So how do you guys the business side of it? How does that work?
As far as what?
You guys, all your fights are, you could watch them, you could stream them.
So I have a manager. The way it works for me is my manager will talk to different promoters, see what they got going on for shows. Then if he likes the idea of the show, the date, everything like that, then we'll start talking about. He'll start talking with the promoter about opponents, stuff like that, and then working out a contract. And with where to watch it or pay-per-view, I guess it just all depends on the promoter and what he's doing with the show, how much money he's putting into it. So for the majority of my fights, we've worked with Mike Reyes with Reyes Promotions, and he had a couple, pay-per-views, I guess you can call them, different websites, different, I think
streaming services.
Yeah, one was Throwdown Sports, I believe, and then another one, we worked with a different promoter, Granite Chin. I think it was boxing.net or bxngtv.com. So yeah, I'm not really sure how they go about it, but I've only worked with I think I've only 2 of my fights you could watch, or maybe 3. Maybe 3. It was so my debut. Then there was one, I know that the Florida one, they tried to have pay-per-view, but something happened with the streaming service. But I would love if you could watch all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what kind of why I'm asking, because I also I'm a big fan of boxing, right? So if I could get any fighter to come in and help out when it comes to the promotion, of course it helps me out too. I want to be able to, with Gabby, I wanted to get the website and put all that stuff out, where I know the tickets, if they use your code or whatever, you get a little bit of percentage of that. So I wanted to learn all that stuff, so I know what I'm doing when I'm.
So usually if we get knowledge of it or catch wind of it, at least me, I try to self-promote myself the best I can with, everything, pictures, videos, if there's promo posters, or if I know there's going to be pay-per-view, I'll try to post a link and the name of the website. I try to do the best I can to keep fans or anyone that's interested in the loop and be able to find everything easy, how to get tickets, how much they are, what the website's going to be, what the seating looks like. I try to get every detail I can to keep everybody like in the loop, make it easy for everybody. Because if it works for them, it works for me.
Exactly. And the reason why I bring it up is because I always been a big boxing fan, but I had no idea there was a local scene until I started. Then I opened up the podcast and I was like, I'm trying to get people, and then all of a sudden I realized, like, hey, wait a minute, there's a scene of fighting in the area, and I didn't know anything about it.
Yep.
I would have been following. It's like I told Gabi, I was like, listen, I'm just a fighting fan, period. So I'm gonna go to the fights, whether you guys show up. I'm just gonna go. It's a fun time. Me and my
it's
buddy
awesome.
went.
It is a good time.
Yeah, we had a few beers. There's people there. Everything was great.
Yep.
I was like, man, this is great. So for me, I was just like, man, how come that I didn't know before? Because I know you guys had a few fights in Lowell.
Yeah.
And there's already been a few fights. And if I would have known, I would have been there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Whether I had this or not. So I was like, man, there's probably a bunch of people like me that don't know. So I'm trying to like let everybody know, because everybody loves fighting. You know what
Especially,
I'm saying?
I mean, you're talking not even New England, but just like the surrounding areas. There's gyms all over. There's multiple gyms in Haverhill and Lawrence and Lowell and Boston, Drake. Like there's gyms all over the place.
Exactly. And then there's new resurgence of MMA fighting.
Yeah.
Also, I know that we have a card. I think is Saturday. There's a MMA. I think UFC is coming down to Massachusetts, so that's also fun and brings eyes to everybody.
Yep.
Have you ever considered going down that route, or are you just like, no?
No, I love it. It's funny because I'm a pro boxer. I love boxing, but I got to be honest, I really don't watch boxing that much. I watch UFC. I watch every single UFC pay-per-view. Every single one. Even if the card isn't that great, I couldn't tell you the last time I didn't watch a UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just like watching people get in the face.
I love it.
Yeah, so I watch everything.
You know why I think? I feel like if I get a boxing pay-per-view, I'm only buying it for the main event.
That one fight. Yes.
I feel like in UFC, 9 times out of 10, it's like everyone on the card is a great fight. So I would rather pay $80 and see 6 fights that I know are going to be entertaining than boxing where like it's a hit or miss. I know that the main event's going to be good, but I don't know about the other,
Yeah, the business of boxing, and hopefully it changes. It looks like it's starting to change. The past few years, we're getting big fights. We're getting things are getting done. Between like promotions and fighters that usually you would not see them fight, or you see them fight past their prime, like Pacquiao and Mayweather. Because boxing is great to me. That the only thing that needs to get, a lot of people say is like, oh, MMA is gonna take over. But like, it's beautiful. I like it all separate. I watch jiu-jitsu by itself. Yeah. I watch wrestling by itself. I could watch all of it apart.
It's 2 different sports. Like I get it. It's fighting, but at the end of the day, it's 2 different sports. That's like saying football and hockey, one's gonna die out. Like it's you're gonna have some years that it's not as great as before, but it's never gonna die. At the end of the day, there's always gonna be people fighting, and there's always gonna be people that want to see people fighting.
Exactly. Yeah. What is it? Is the oldest sport in the world, I think, right? I mean, it goes back to the Roman.
Yeah.
It's the first. I don't know if you could call it a sport. I know we call it a sport, but it's a blood sport.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. So, it's the oldest thing that we have. Is we always figure out our differences, and it's been watched since the beginning of time, basically.
Yep.
So I wish we could figure out the business a little bit better, so we get the fights, and we get fighters everybody gets paid. I know basically all the
I think that's one of the things that is the problem nowadays is everyone's greedy. Everybody wants money. I think that's what changed about the sport. Like, no matter what, over the years, no matter what, everybody wants to make money and get paid. But I think the biggest thing that changed over the years is old school versus new school fighters and boxers. Back in the day, people wanted to fight for status and people wanted to be the baddest dude. Nowadays, people just want the payday. They don't care who they fight. They just want the payday. That's it.
Yeah.
So they care more about money than the legacy, the name, the status, which I get it. People want to get paid, but I mean,
it takes from the sport. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, all the best fighters fought the best fighters.
Yeah.
That was just
That's how
they went up in class, did whatever it took to make the fight
Everybody
happen.
fought everyone back in the day.
Yeah.
Now you got, and another thing that I hate is there's just too many belts.
Too many promotions. And
You shouldn't have. You shouldn't. It shouldn't be a possibility for there to be 5 champions in one weight class.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
That's insane.
You're making it easy for people to avoid fights and stay champion. There should be one belt. If you want it, you fight for it, and it creates fights. It creates, if you want to be the best, there's only one way to do it. Not, oh well, I can still be champion and avoid that guy. That's not how it should be, man.
Yeah, and that's why the UFC is great. Even though I know there's problems there when it comes to pay. Also,
one belt
is under one organization, so you have to fight everybody. There is no. Well, me and this manager or me and this promoter don't mess with each other. We don't want to take the risk also of my fighter losing, and then we lose the money maker.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, it's boring, for the business of it. Do you it's tough, right? Because it's part of it, and if you want to make money, you kind of have to. Do you try to put on a persona when you're in the thing, or you're just yourself?
I'm just myself. Look, man, I'm quiet. I'm a quiet kid. If I'm gonna put on a show, it's gonna be by my performance. I never believed in talking, whether it's just confidence or whether you're trying to badmouth someone. It just, to me, it's corny. Like if you're talking smack or you're just being a loudmouth in general and you lose, you just look even more stupid. And then if you're just talking smack, even if you win, it's just corny to me, man. I'd rather I go to the gym, I shut my mouth, I put in the work. When we go to weigh-ins, I shake my opponent's hand. It's all business. And when that final bell rings at the end, unless you're rude to me, we're cool. It's business. This is what I'm here for. You know? I'd rather let my performance speak for itself. I'd rather let other people
do the talking,
speak on my behalf than me have to say anything.
Yeah, I like that. I like that style when it comes to fighters. I don't, because every time you get your ass beat when you're talking shit, you go,
look so stupid.
You look stupid, and then you always go to the same thing. Oh, it was just to promote the fight. It was just business, or it wasn't personal. Like, come on, man. We didn't have to do that then. If it was, if it was just business, the business is done. We're gonna fight anyway.
And I think, at least me, I can read authenticity. Like you see, there's certain people that when they're talking, you can tell that's who they are. Whether there's a camera on them or not, that you're gonna get the same person. Like you got UFC is a good example. You got a person like Nate Diaz, like Conor McGregor. Like to me, whether they're on TV, on pay-per-view, or you catch them out in the street, their personality, that's gonna be them.
It's not a character.
And then you got some people. Because of McGregor being who he was and kind of paved the way for everyone, everyone's trying to, have a loud mouth, have an act, have a gimmick, try to entertain. But you could tell certain people that talk, they're just not good at it, and you could tell it's not them, and you could tell they're doing it just for the camera. And when, at least me, like I said, I feel like I can read authenticity, and if I could tell someone's, doing it for the show, it's just corny to me. I don't like it.
Yeah, if it's natural to you, then let's do it. But if it's not, I get you. And also, it's kind of with this. When I started the podcast, the first thing I told myself was, I'm going to be myself. Yeah. Because if I'm not myself, this is going to become work. Mm-hmm. I already have a job. I'm trying to do something that's, of course, there's work involved, right? But it's fun to me to get to meet people like you and, have me get to interact with people I'm a fan of. So
it's too much work to keep up a persona that isn't you.
Exactly. So I was just like, I have to do it original and be myself. So like that, I don't get tired of it. Yep. And I tell that to everybody that comes in, or any, like, this is a studio and there's a few people, more podcasts coming out of here. The first thing I tell anybody is be yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're yourself, no matter what, you'll find your audience. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people in the world. You're going to find your audience.
Exactly.
So just be yourself, though. so you find the right audience and you're not faking it to try to fit in.
And at the end of the day, I don't care. There's no solution. There's no way. Like, I don't care how you act, how you dress, what you do, like what your views are. It doesn't matter what, doesn't matter what topic you're or what category you're talking about. No matter what you do, there's always gonna be people that agree with it and people that don't agree with it.
Exactly.
Like I said, no matter how you dress, how you act, what your hair looks like, what your hobbies are, like, it doesn't matter what it is. You can't win. You're not gonna please everybody. Not everyone's gonna agree with it. Like, so it's easier just to do what you like.
Be yourself in the beginning. Yeah, that, at least I did. I went through that where I was trying to fit in with people.
I guess we all do. Yeah, we all have that phase.
Yeah,
but it just becomes too hard. It's too much work.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, there's only one of you. And, I get it. A lot of people don't have the courage to do it. That's another thing. It's hard to put your true self out there and to be judged with no gimmick, nothing behind it. Just, this is who I am. That's also tough. You have to be a certain type of person to do that, because I'm gonna get make fun of.
I was talking about this with someone the other day. It was saying, look, it's like, and this isn't negative. It's just a fact of life. Like, if you died tomorrow, right? Little by little, even people that care about you, whatever, like people that care about you, people that don't care about you, little by little, people start to forget you. People move on. It's just life. People get distracted. So it's like,
why waste your time?
Don't live your life not living how you want because you're afraid of how people will perceive you. Because I promise, when it's your time, when you die, people are gonna forget about you anyways. Again, not negative, but it's just how life works. When you go, people are gonna forget about you, and they're gonna continue to live their life. So don't not live how you want to live because you're afraid of how people will perceive you.
Exactly.
Live how you want, do what you want, listen to the music you want, dress how you want. Like, don't not do that. Like, don't live how you want. Don't live like not how you want to, because you're like, oh, what if people judge me? What if people think this is weird? Well,
they're doing it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you're on your deathbed, you got two things you could say. I had a good life, or there's so many things I didn't get to do that I wanted to.
Yeah,
I wish
rough.
I did this.
That's rough.
I wish I did this. I wish I should have did this. I should have took this chance. Or I should, live with no regrets, man.
Exactly. That's the best thing you could do. With this, I was scared. I was like, man, like, who the hell is gonna, I'm like you. I'm a normal, like, quiet kid. I'm not a partier. I'm not clubbing. I just head down working. That's all, since I came to this country, that's all I've done. With the pandemic, I had time off of work, so I was just like, all right, well, let's do something I like. And it was scary because it's the same thing. We're like, well, there's no fucking podcast in Lowell. Like, who's going to watch? Who's going to come? Who am I going to get, as a guest? All those stuff. And I was just like, well, there's only one way to find out.
Gotta take a chance, man.
Exactly. You got to do it. Then there was no studio, because at first I was like, well, let me rent the studio time. Look everywhere. There's no studios.
Look at all the biggest things in the world. I don't care what you're talking about. There was a day one.
Exactly. So I was just like, let me just do it. And the way I did it was, I'm like, I'm just going to pay the rent for this thing for 3 years. Because I didn't want to, if I gave myself the out, or if it wasn't working right away. That's smart. I was just like, I spent the money. I might as well put the time in. There was no, I can't get the money back. Yep. I remember I did it. I paid the rent. I had nothing. I had not one mic. And the beauty of this is I paid the rent, and I came in here. I came in here without knowing what was, looking at the place, nothing. I've been working with these people for a while.
Yep.
So I was just like, it's 2 rooms. I have another room. I'm working on another studio there. And I was like, if I don't give these people, like, if I don't pay it for 3 years, I'm probably going to quit.
Yeah.
And it was just like that. I remember I paid it, and it took me 6 months to actually get started. Like, first few months, I bought all the mic, I bought everything, and then I was by myself. I came in, started putting stuff up, and I was just like, I gave up. So I went away for like 6 months. But I couldn't ask for the money back, so I came back, and I was like, all right, well, it's go time. And that's how it happened. But I had to take the chance.
You got it, man.
When you started boxing, did you have? I know you told me your dad right away and your uncle were right away supportive, but did you have those naysayers or like people that doubted, or you weren't even paying attention, or you didn't even tell nobody?
As far as like when I first started, or like professionally, or
When you first even professionally, when you thought of I'm taking this serious, I'm gonna be a boxer.
I don't think at any point in my life I really had any naysayers, like anyone dragging me down. I think, especially when I was young, when I started when I was young, I think my family and friends were always like supportive. I think my family thought of it as more just like as a hobby. You know, I was a young kid, but then I think when I turned pro, everyone, friends, family, they obviously knew that I've been doing this my whole life. So everyone was like kind of excited for me, and but I don't know what anyone's expectations really were. But now that, because it's just still so new and so early, but I think now that everyone sees how much work I put in, and we've been on this streak, and kind of it's a journey for everyone else, just as it is for me, seeing like all the cool posters and the media and the podcasts and the fight footage and seeing clips of me training. I think now everyone's like, oh, this could be something,
And I noticed with you, because I think I follow. I don't know I don't know if it's your manager or your dad or your somebody. I know I follow your family. So your whole family like goes with you.
Yeah.
Where you go,
friends, family.
Yeah. Miami, there was a bunch of.
That's one
people.
thing I'm really, 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 really grateful for is all the people that support me. Because I tell everyone the same thing. I don't expect anyone to come to any of my fights, or like, I understand people's lives don't revolve around me. People have lives. People got other things going on. I'm not people's first thought or main priority. So a simple congratulations or good luck and congratulations, that's good for me. But all the people that buy tickets and share my stuff and travel and come out and help with sponsorship and money, like, I'm so grateful and so appreciative of everyone that stands behind me. Even like just simple like people that I haven't seen in 10 plus years that I went to high school with that are sharing my stuff. Like, it's awesome, man. I'm super thankful and grateful for everybody. And, I hope that one day, I can give it back to everybody in some way, whether, I make some big paydays or I can help people in any way I can.
You give back just by winning, brother. That's all. I thought about that too when I was going to the fights. I was like, man, I don't want to go over there and then like people they lose, because then I'm gonna feel like it's me. I'm superstitious like that. I'm like, if they lose, I'm never going to a fight. I'm gonna watch from home, but I'm not going to a fight again. I think that way, because I'm nervous just as you guys. Like I said, I'm just a big boxing fan from little kid.
Yep.
I tried boxing, but I realized right away, it's like boxing, you could have skills, I could throw my hands pretty fast, but that doesn't mean anything. You have to have the mentality. Boxing is a different game.
I see a lot of kids walk out of that boxing gym after they spar for the first time,
and they're like, nope, I'm not coming back.
You see kids come in, they train for a little while, then it's time to get sparring, and obviously it's not going to be, whoever's working with them isn't going to kill them, but like, it's boxing, so you got to hit them, you got to show them what the sport is. And there's a lot of kids that spar once and never come back.
I think that's good. I think everybody should do it. If you're a man, I think that's good for you, because a lot of people walk around with this bravado of like, I could do this, and in their mind they think they could do all of this.
You definitely need a different mentality, because I'll tell you what, I started at 13 years old, and when I walked in that gym, anybody close to my age, all what I just told you would happen. Anyone that was remotely close to my age would spar for the first time, and you'd never see him again.
Yep. That was me. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm one of those people.
So
I went and I was like, nope, not for me.
Well, what that did for me was, all right, come sparring time, I got no kids my age to spar. Everyone's left. So I got from 16 years old up to people in their 30s. that I had no choice but to spar, and I got beat so many times, so many, like, I had so many bad nights being bloody, concussed, like hurt, like by all these older kids. And that's what I mean by you need to have a different mentality, because there are so many nights that I walked out of that gym with headaches, bloody noses, hurt, frustrated, crying, wanted to quit. And every single day I kept coming back. I couldn't tell you why, because there was some nights I came out of that gym like really hurt. As a little kid, really hurt, because not everyone knows how to work with you when they're sparring. Some people, it doesn't matter how old you are, it's not in their nature to go easy.
Yeah.
So I really can't tell you why I kept doing it. It's just kind of built in your system.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, like I said, the only way to find out too is to go. That's the only way you're gonna know. To actually, I mean, if you're one of those people you just street fighting all the time, then you might find out that way. But if you're not, go to a gym, test yourself. We all men. We all have that thing.
You know what's funny is it hasn't happened in years, a long time. But my coaches used to do that. If there was a kid in our gym said he was being picked on or whatever it was, someone was giving trouble at school, the coaches are like, all right, whatever kid's giving you trouble at school, tell him to come down to the boxing gym. We'll do it the right way. And there's been a few stories of kids coming down and getting worked in the boxing gym.
Yeah,
because it's a different animal.
Yeah, I have I'm Dominican. I'm from Dominican Republic, and I came here when I was like 11. So over there, it's different. It's a little bit behind times. Like, it's not everything. Culture is not as moving as fast as over here.
Yep.
So my first fight, I was like 8. It was my dad. Bare hands. He put me to fight because I was taking karate and I'm talking shit.
Yeah.
And I'm taking karate and all this stuff. So he was like, okay, you talking all of this. And he literally made me fight. And it was just like his friend's son that was also talking about fighting. Yep. They made us fight. And I lost. And right away, I knew. And that's what my dad did. He's like, you need to understand, like, it's not as easy as you think. Then I learned right away. I was like, okay, I respect fighting. I was never eager to fight people, even though I could, because I did train a little bit of different martial arts. But I didn't have that like quick of talking to people about fighting, because I'm like, this could go so many different ways. Last resort, I'll do it, but if I don't have to, I'm staying away from it.
So here's the thing, right? This is what people don't understand. Fighting, like everything else, is a sport. I don't care if you're talking about the competition or if you're talking street fighting. If you ask anybody, hey, are you good at football? No. Well, why not? I don't play football. You good at hockey? No. Why not? I don't play hockey. Oh, can you fight? Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why can you fight? Again, I don't care if you're talking competition or a street fight. In order to be good at something,
you have to do it.
You need to do it.
Yes.
Whether you're talking street fighting or being in a boxing gym, why do you think you're good? Because in 3rd grade you got into a middle school fight that probably lasted a minute, 2 minutes. Like, fighting is the only thing in the world that people just naturally think that they can do. Automatic. I don't care who they are. Never been in a fight in their life. Never been in a physical altercation. Can you fight? I could fight. Why?
Yeah.
It makes zero sense.
I never thought about it that way.
And the funny thing is people that can fight, people that know what they're capable of, want nothing to do with it. There's a very, very small percentage of people that can fight that are cocky and whatever, want to fight. But I'd say 95% of people that know what they're capable of, can fight, want no part of it, know what the outcome is going to be. And the person that has absolutely no business fighting, has no skill, anything, is the loudest person in the room and wants it more than anybody.
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
When you know fighting, true fighting, when you can fight, you know that there's no good outcome, no matter what angle you look at it from.
Yes. When it came to fighting for me, my only goal was, since like I said, my dad kind of set me straight early. Mm-hmm. If I got picked on, the only thing I would fight was for that, because I'm a man.
You gotta stand up for yourself.
Exactly. So I must stand up for myself, but I did it so you could stop picking on me. I did it to prove to you, hey, I am willing to fight.
Yeah.
And most of the time, every fight I got into, which weren't many, we ended up building our respect. A lot of my good friends, we started off fighting in middle school or something like
It
that.
happens a lot.
And then we build respect for each other.
Yep.
And then we become friends.
You see a lot of best friends that started off as enemies.
Yeah. One of my best friends, we started off fighting in the bus.
Yep.
Every day we would fight on the bus. And I didn't know English. There was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And then I remember the day I fought back, like I just got tired of it and I fought back. That's the day he stopped.
Yep.
Till I didn't, it was constant. The minute I did it, it stopped. He stopped picking on me. We would look at each other weird afterwards, but it was never no fighting anymore.
Yep.
And then we started playing basketball together, and then we became friends after that. But people have to do it. If you think you could do it, and there's a difference from doing it here and there to some people might have a few street fights, and then all of a sudden they think I could take on a boxer.
Yeah.
Come on.
Again, everything is an art, right? Like, so, like that's I always get in the argument with people with like MMA, boxing. I'm like, dude, it's two different sports. Yeah. You're training two different ways. You're training. It's
all different.
That's like saying who hits harder or who checks harder, a football player or a hockey player. It's two different sports. It's two different, completely different training methods. And same thing with street fighting. Like, boxing is gonna help you in a street fight. Of course, it's a type of martial art. It's a type of combat. But someone who street fights all the time and know these tricks and little slick things, like unless you do something all the time, you're not gonna be that great at it. Yeah. Boxing is gonna help you, but it's a little different in the street fight. And then same thing, vice versa. You might be a tough dude in the street, but you get into a boxing gym where people are picking their punches and they study the art of how people move. It's a whole different game.
Exactly, how to defense. A lot of people.
Look at I'm not talking down on MMA fighters because again it's a whole different sport, but you notice that even though MMA fighters train stand up, when they tend to get into a boxing gym and you single it out and you get rid of all the other forms of fighting, they don't do as well because a boxer is strictly training hands. You're training two different things.
I think it's disrespectful. I think that's complete disrespect for somebody from a different background to just think that you could just like be as good as somebody that's all they've been doing their whole life. And then we've seen it, even with a person like Jake Paul who hasn't been doing it his whole life, just a few years of concentrated training into boxing. He's beat every single MMA
It's so
fighter.
funny you just said that because I said that the other day. I was like, again, this kind of shows that how different MMA is compared to boxing because you got exactly what you just said. Jake Paul, who, don't get me wrong, he works his ass off and he's put in the time and the dedication, but you consider him, he's green right now.
Yes.
He's still green. He's still new. So the fact that these seasoned, veteran MMA fighters are getting outboxed by a green fighter, a green boxer, shows the difference in stand-up.
Correct.
But again, no disrespect, because if Jake Paul or me, if I step into a cage, it's a whole different world.
Yes.
A whole different ball game.
Correct. Yeah, that's why you have to respect both forms.
Did you see back in the day when James Toney went to the UFC?
Yeah.
Perfect example. James Toney is one of the baddest dudes to ever step into a boxing ring.
Yeah.
Fought Randy Couture. It was over in less than a minute.
Correct. It's like I said, it's just different arts, and you got to respect all of it.
Yep.
With that conversation, do you think you will ever fight MMA, or you're like, no, it's just not?
No, I love it. I respect it. I watch it more than boxing, but it's just it was never my thing. I would love to. I've always wanted to learn ground game, a different discipline, not even to fight, just for my own knowledge. I've been boxing since I was 13. I know that I'm capable. I know my skill set with my hands. Just for my own knowledge, I would love to do wrestling or jiu-jitsu, just to learn something different. Maybe when I'm done with boxing, I wouldn't do anything right now because I don't want to get any injuries. I don't want to mess up anything going on. But, when I'm done with boxing, I'm definitely going to get into something else.
Nice. Yeah, jiu-jitsu is I want to do. I want to do everything. I just can't right now. I have a messed up shoulder, completely torn ligaments in my left shoulder. So it's been
It's tough.
Yeah, I have boxing gloves. I used to go to hit the bag. That was my form of. I had knee problems also, so my form of cardio was just hitting the bag.
Yeah.
And I can't do that right now. I wanted to join jiu-jitsu, but I can't do that because with my shoulder, I'm just gonna end up, and I can't afford to get hurt at the moment. I got too much stuff that I need to be able to do. With that, when it comes to boxing, what's the hardest thing to you? Is it training, or training is kind of natural and easy for you since you've been doing it your whole life? Or is it the whole build up to a fight where you're like, you got those nerves of like, I'm fighting, or you don't care?
It's definitely training. Fighting's the easy part. That's your, like, fighting, it's definitely the easy part.
That's the fun part.
Training is the hard part. Especially if you work full time, like finding the motivation to get to the gym. Then once you're in the gym, no matter how tired you are, or even if you're not tired and you're just kind of like not mentally there, finding that drive to work hard. And then when you are working hard and you're tired and you feel like physically tired and you feel like you can't keep going, and you got 2, 3, 4 coaches pushing at you, yelling at you, doing one more set or doing one more minute or doing one more round, it definitely teaches you a lot about yourself, and you got to dig deep. And I don't think anybody likes training, or at least like deep training. Like anyone could go to the gym and do things at their own pace, but when you're in a routine and you're being pushed and you're working harder than you've ever worked, it's tough. Feeling tired, feeling like you want to puke, feeling like you want to give up. You get injuries. You're trying to balance everything else. It's definitely tough. And you were talking about nerves. It's like, the closer the fight gets, the worse they get. You're a couple months out. You don't even realize it. You're not feeling anything. It's not even in your brain. Then all of a sudden you get a month out. You start to get a little, butterflies. And then a couple weeks and you're like, all right. Then you start to really get some anxiety. And then it becomes an everyday thought. And
you can't sleep.
You can't sleep. You got pins and needles. You got anxiety. You got a pit in your stomach. It's inevitable on this day. You're fighting. And
no matter how you feel that day,
it's getting closer and closer and closer. And then, like, the day of, it's even worse. You feel like you want to puke. You're in the bathroom 50 times a day. And what's crazy is after that very first punch, it all goes away.
Wow, that's amazing. Like I said, that's the part where I'm like, it's a different type of human.
So I tell people, you can't explain that feeling to anybody that's never experienced it or isn't a fighter. But the only way I feel like I can somewhat relate it to people is I'm like, if you were ever in a fight in middle school or a planned fight, like say, oh, you're going to fight this kid in the field after school. I'm like, you remember that feeling you had in your stomach as you were walking out to the field? I'm like, imagine having that for 2 months.
Yeah.
And the closer it gets, the stronger it gets and the worse it feels.
Yep.
That's the only way I can explain it to people.
Yeah, I said that. I think one of the episodes, I forgot who it was. I said the same thing you said. I'm like, the only thing I could, like, the closest thing is when you're in middle school and somebody tells you after school, and then now you're sitting there, the whole class, and you're thinking, I'm like, shit, after school, I have to show up, because if not, everybody's gonna think you're a bitch.
Yep. So
you have to just show up, and everybody's gonna be watching.
Your brain is powerful, man, because it's like, I can only speak for myself, but no matter how much work you put in, how much you train, how confident you are, at least me, man, my brain is a revolving door of thoughts. It's like thinking about that fight, my brain thinks of every single possible scenario that could happen. What if you get caught? What if you get hurt? What if you get knocked out? What if you get embarrassed? What if, you get tired? You're in front of all these people, all your family, your friends, your fans. What if you let your coaches down? You let yourself down. It's like every single possible scenario that could ever happen flows through your head, and it's just a revolving door that doesn't stop. And then, like I said, it's like that first punch is thrown, and it all goes away, and your brain clicks into survival mode. It's like, all right, we're here now. Like,
it all forgets. You kind of you probably don't even hear the crowd.
I don't hear anything.
At that point, it's just,
I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. It's just like your brain is in survival mode. You're here now. You're in a fight. Like, you're on your own. No one's coming to help you. This is it, you know?
Does it get easier as you go? Is it easier now in your seventh fight than it was in your first fight? Or is it something like George St. Pierre, he battled that his whole career where he was a little bit of the opposite of you, where he was like, of course, the hard training nobody likes, right?
Yeah.
But like the sparring in practice and just testing yourself in the comfort of your gym and then doing it in public, he was just like, that was the biggest fight was that, just the fight before the fight with his own head. And for you, does that get easier or is it different for you? I asked Gabe that question, and Gabe was more and I don't know if he was being completely honest, and I have no reason to not think he was, but he was just like, it doesn't bother me. He's like,
I mean, Gabe's a confident kid, man. Like, as long as I've known him, he's always been confident, and he doesn't fear much, and I think that's just who he is. I don't think he has any reason to lie either. But for me, even outside of fighting, I feel like I've always had a deep brain. I've always my brain is always 1,000,000 miles an hour at all times. So I don't think it ever gets easier, but I think
you learn to.
It's more. I think it gets easier to comfort myself because I know I've been there before. I have pep talks with myself. The night before, when I'm in the locker room, when I'm on walking out. So the anxiety and that pit in my stomach, I don't think it ever lessens. It never lessens or gets any easier. I still feel all the same feelings, but I think it just keeps me me sharp.
I think that's good. I think
I think it means you care. If you're not feeling anything, I think that's when it becomes a problem. I just make sure that when I'm in the locker room, I separate. There's a moment in time where I separate myself from everyone, and I just kind of put my hands to my face, and I like have a conversation with myself and pep talk, and tell myself, you're confident, you worked harder, you want this more, you're faster, you're stronger, you're skilled, you have more heart, like. I just kind of give myself positive affirmations and go out there and do what I know how to do and put like full belief in myself.
That's what's up, man. Because I'm like you. I'm an overthinker. I'm one of those people like you. It's hard to shut it off.
Yep.
It's constantly, even on my sleep, it's constantly going. And I'm not fighting. I mean, even for this, like I get a little nervous every time.
Yep.
I'm doing it. Every single interview I have done so far, there's 13 episodes. Besides a high school buddy of mine, it's all people that I don't know. There's no it's not my friends. Yeah. So there's always a little bit of those butterflies.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna be like.
Exactly, you never know. And so far, everybody's been great. I have no complaints when it comes to that. But I don't think with my type of the way my brain works, I'm like you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like, should I ask this? What if his energy's off? How do I deal with that? And I should start overthinking everything. It helps me because I'm prepared for mostly anything that I'm doing. I'm prepared for that same reason. But fighting is different because now that's in your head.
I just thought of it. I think it actually, honestly, it might.
It helps.
I think it might actually get harder to comfort myself because the more I keep winning, the higher the stakes. You know what I mean? I'm 7-0 right.
Built, yeah.
So I'm 7-0 right now. Like, I'm always gonna train as hard as I can. I'm always gonna have belief in myself. But you got more to lose with each fight. Somebody wants to take that O away from you. Someone wants to give me my first loss. No matter what, even if you don't have a loss, the person standing across from you, their main goal, their main objective is to beat you, to hurt you, to embarrass you, to win. So not only with that in mind, but somebody wants to give you your first loss.
It's tough. I think Kamaru Usman, he said that the pressure of being the champion was way harder.
Of course.
And being undefeated was very tough. He said he felt that a big relief. And I think a few champions have said that.
Definitely.
when you're on that winning streak, or you're always, there is a level of added pressure to that. And then once it's done, you kind of get to relax a little bit.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's the same thing for you guys. How do you see yourself, like, and I know it's kind of hard to predict, of course, but do you see yourself fighting till, depending on how it goes and how successful you are, but you think you'll do this 30, 35 years?
I'm giving myself, I kind of gave myself a short-term goal of 30. I want to see, I'm 28 now. I just turned 28. So I'm 7-0 right now. The way I look at it, if we stay on the same, track, we keep winning fights, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get,
one of these titles,
a decent fight within the next couple of years. So I said I'm giving myself till 30. If nothing, no opportunities or nothing big happens by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna wrap it up, because I've been doing this since I was 13. It's a lot mentally. It's a lot on your body physically. I refuse to fight just to fight and be someone that's, just taking a beating. I think it's pretty realistic. There's no reason why we can't build something and get something big within the next 2 years if we keep winning. I'm 7-0 now. Let's just say hypothetically in 2 years I'm 15-0, right? That's a great resume. Looks good on paper to build something.
They gotta start looking at you.
Build a big fight. We're already 7-0. The fact that I'm undefeated, you got people that are trying to build fights because they see I'm undefeated, and obviously they're confident in themselves. They think they could beat me.
But it looks nice.
And it looks good.
Yeah.
So if I'm 11, 12, 13, 14-0, there's no reason why we can't try to get a big fight. But again, 30 is my my cutoff, where if nothing happens, I'm gonna hang it up, because I don't want to. I refuse to take a beating just to do it and fight just to fight. And at the end of the day, 30 is still young. So if the fighting doesn't work out, 30 is still plenty of time to pursue. Other things.
Yeah. You got definitely. I mean, 30 is like the new 20.
Yeah.
I tell people that's kind of the same thing with me. I'm 32.
Yeah.
And I told myself, I'm like, whatever I do from 30 to 40, that's it. That's the real, these 10 years. I told all that to all my friends.
I mean, it's never, realistically,
never too late for anything.
Too late to start anything, but it is good
to start on your passion, at least.
Yep.
To build on something
exactly
in that time, because it does get, you get to 45. It's hard, by then you got kids and responsibility. It's kind of harder to stop doing all those things. So 30 you could do, at 30 you could do whatever you want still. But I believe you guys could do it. I think
absolutely. There's no reason why we can't.
Yeah,
we have a good team. I have great coaches, a great manager. I believe in myself. I believe in my. I don't think that I've showed my full potential yet. Like I
still improving. I
don't mean to sound like ungrateful or negative or I don't even know the word to use, but like I know I won my last fight, and but I'm just so unhappy with my performance, and know that I'm so much better than, I have so much more skill and potential than what I showcased my last fight. And I feel like not only have I not reached my full potential, but I haven't shown half of like what I can do. So I'm just real motivated to get back in the gym and just get back to work and like just keep putting on a show.
Yeah, I mean, it's, realistically, all of you guys are still early in the game for you guys. 7 fights, 8 fights. You guys have a lot of room for improvement, just on the just skill wise, and also just being comfortable with the crowd and with everything. Once that comes,
and that's the thing, right? Like I know I said 30, but I'm in no rush either. Like I think it's real important to learn from those who come before you, and you see a lot of fighters that take a big fight too soon, and you can be a great fighter, no doubt about it. You can have like tremendous amount of skill, but there's something to be said about experience. There's so many scenarios that could happen in a fight that you're unprepared for. Like, you got to be able to, you need to get used to these. That's why all these little fights help you build your experience. Being used to certain size crowds, being used to people, say, yelling things out. If you get hurt in the fight, learning how to deal with it, or face adversity, or how to buy yourself time if like you hurt your hand or your rib or whatever. There's so many little things that you haven't experienced yet that you need for a big fight. You see so many fighters that say they're like 10-0 and they take a big fight because they see the numbers, they see the payday, and they end up losing that fight. And it kind of looks bad because once you lose,
if you lose bad,
who
it's
knows
not a good showing.
Who knows if you're going to get that opportunity again?
Exactly.
So I'm taking all these little fights one at a time, not trying to be greedy, not looking for money, not expecting paydays, just taking every little thing and putting it in, the vault to like use,
experience, gain knowledge. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And there's been great boxers that started late, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even Lomachenko, you just said you're a big fan of, which I am too, one of the great fighters of this time. He had a long history of amateur fighting.
Long amateur career.
But when it came to professional, I think he doesn't have that long of a professional career.
No, I think he
became a champion with like 4 fights.
I think he's only in the teens for
Yeah.
fights right now.
Yeah, exactly. And he became, once he made the transition to pro, it took him 4 fights and he was a champion.
Well, we go back to experience, right? Even though it's amateur, 400 amateur fights is plenty of experience.
That's insane.
Like, I don't even know. Like, so how would you even divide that? There's 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah, that's
so
insane.
400 fights. Like, even if you fought
every day,
every weekend,
yeah,
every single weekend, like, it just, I don't even understand how he had four.
Yeah.
He literally probably had to fight every weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's only if you fought every single weekend, that's only 52 fights a year.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
That's crazy, yeah.
So, like, to get 400 amateur fights is insane to me.
Insane. Yeah. I mean, he's one of those people that I guess that's what he was doing from birth.
Oh, yeah,
That's what everything in his life was meant. I mean, he took dancing and all this other stuff, and it was all for his boxing career.
Yep.
So that's lineage. I think his dad was a trainer also and a fighter.
I'm not sure. I don't really know too much about his background.
So yeah, those guys, it's amazing that you could do that. And I don't even understand it. Why would a person fight that much and not go pro? You don't make money as an amateur. That's strange. But again, he's still one of the greats. What did you think about that fight? Him and Haney. I thought he won.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I thought he won.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I was like, I don't know what I
thought the fight was close. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it was a good fight. It was a good fight, but
I had Lomachenko as the winner. Yes. I thought he won.
Yes, he got. And if they fight again, I think it's going to be even worse. I think it's going to be even more.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about boxing. Some of the decisions sometimes gives you like. Do you worry about that?
It's just. Oh yeah, definitely. Like I won't like get too detailed, but we just got an offer to fight. Someone made us an offer to fight. And my manager, we were discussing that the area that the fight was offered to be in, the commission doesn't have the best past decision-wise, you know what I mean? So, in any, not just boxing, but anywhere where there's money, there's corruption.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Big time.
Especially in boxing, you got Haney, who's undefeated. On a close fight, I could see them giving him the decision to build a bigger fight with somebody else.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I actually have made money betting on fights because I know how corrupt it is. Like when Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury the first time, I bet the draw. Wow. Yep, because my my take on it is,
if it was close, it makes sense. If it was close, they
yep,
were not gonna.
exactly. My take on it was like, dude, if it's close and it goes to decision, they're gonna do a draw to make another fight. And I just bet on a whim, and I won. I won like $800.
Nice,
Yep.
nice. Yeah, it was a great fight, all of them. But and that one, that one was was clear cut. The first, like Tyson won, right?
In the first one?
Yeah, like in the first one was when he got knocked down, but he came back. But if you go round by round,
I'd have to watch it, and they kind of all blend.
Yeah,
but
if I remember correctly, it was the typical Tyson was winning on points, and Wilder needed a knockout to win, and he almost did it, but the guy got up, and he won the fight. So to give that a draw, to me, it was just like you said, they wanted the second fight, so they gave it a draw.
Same thing with when Canelo and Triple G fought for the first time. I was actually in Vegas for that. We watched it, and there was a certain room we watched it in, and my uncle bet the draw, and he won like $4,000 for that same reason. If it's close, it's all about money. They're gonna make another fight, so he bet $100, won $4,000.
Nice. I mean, again, great fights anyway, so you kind of want to see it again.
Absolutely.
So in those instances, you kind of don't mind, but it's like that the Devin Haney fight. If they don't make the rematch, it's kind of messed up for Lomachenko, and it's tough for fighters, man. You put everything out there and then get robbed by judges.
Yeah. So I've only had 3 knockouts in 7 fights. So a few of my decisions I did get nervous. I mean, granted, I had most of them. I had a couple unanimous and 1 majority. But you just never know what judges, especially if it's like if it's a close fight, like close as in like you're head to head and you're punching. You never know how judges are looking at that. Like if they're seeing the person land, even if the people are hitting your glove, but the judge is like, oh, he's punching. You never know
how they're gonna judge
they're viewing it, or if some people look at the aggressor, who's pushing who back, or I don't know. So whenever the fights go to decision, there's always a part of me that I'm confident that I won, but you never know what the judges are thinking.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I seen Lomachenko crying after that fight.
Oh yeah. Especially if you believe you won.
Exactly, that's the worst. Right? Like if you lost,
you're sitting in the center of the ring. You're like, I'm gonna get my hand raised, and they give it. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the same way with I think Mayweather. The only fight he lost or something like that was some bullshit. It was in the amateurs. It was some bullshit ass decision.
Yeah, the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. That was crazy. He's in the interview crying, and
Roy Jones Jr. The biggest robbery in amateur history. Yep. He won that fight so clear cut, like it was just dominance and just the corruption. They gave it to the other kid. So actually, on the fight card that we all fought last weekend, this wasn't so much. I think it was just more of a mess up than corruption. But it goes to show you. It was judges.
There. I think you're gonna say about
they changed the results. So at first there was a winner of a fight, and then after the next fight came on, after the next fight was over, they came back into the ring and said, hey, we had a misread. The cards were read wrong. Yeah, that last fight, there was no winner. It'll be declared a draw. And, like, imagine being the winner of that fight.
Yep.
A whole other fight goes complete distance over. You're thinking, this is like, we're talking another 25 minutes gone by, and all of a sudden, oh, yeah, sorry, but you didn't win that fight. What do you mean?
Exactly. The other guy's already celebrating. Yeah, that's tough. And I'm not going to lie. I watched that fight. That's when I arrived.
Yep.
And the person they said, I don't know any of these fighters.
Yeah.
Granted, I never heard of them, or I don't have any connection to any of them. But the guy that they said won didn't win the fight from what I saw, And I'm not saying I'm the best at looking at it, but I'm like, the other guy won. The whole fight when it was happening, I'm like, oh yeah, red.
Yeah.
I don't remember the names, but I know
Kenny Larson.
Yeah.
And I forget the other kid's name, but I know Kenny Larson was the kid in the red shorts.
Yeah, and to me, I'm thinking he's winning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they call the other guy to win, and then they come back and say it's a draw, and I'm like,
Dude,
whoa.
there's so many stories like that. Like, actually, a good one. A kid from my gym, amateur fighter. He fought, a few months back, and at the end of the fight, his hand gets raised. He's the winner. They give him a trophy, this and that. Like, 20 minutes goes by. They come in the back and say, hey, there was an issue. The computers read the scores wrong. The other kid actually took the trophy from him. We're like,
are you kidding me?
What do you guys can't do this?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, I and I don't know. Like I said, I'm new at this, so I'm trying to like figure all this stuff out. Like I want to every time there's a fight, I want to be able to bring a camera. Yeah. Like I want to be able to bring a camera and not specifically for interviewing you guys before or after. I'm not really interested in that. I would do it if the chance presented itself, but just to record the fight.
Absolutely.
Because I want to be able to play it, on my own, and also have footage. So if case something happens, there is footage.
Yeah.
Like with Gabi, I recorded the shot where
he got knocked down.
Where the kid got knocked down. Yeah, it was not. It's clearly on my camera. It's not a low blow.
Yep.
So I was just
see. That's like I was saying. Like to me, when I saw it, it didn't look like a low blow. But again, like maybe it was a different angle. I wasn't the ref. It didn't look like it from where I was sitting, but. I thought it was over because the kid was on the ground and he wasn't getting up. I'm like, oh, that was fast.
Yeah.
And then he took his time. He sold it, but whatever.
Yeah. And you see it. Like, Gabi hit him right. It was a clean, clean body shot. And, typical with a body shot, you see the late reaction.
Yeah.
Gabi hit him, and it took him a while. And right away, he grabbed his stomach and went down. And I was confused. I was celebrating. I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, why is he not counting?
And it was funny because you could see when the kid finally did get up and they got back, you see Gabi went right after him.
Yeah, I think Gabi got upset.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Gabi could have probably got him out of there, but he was a little bit upset that they...
And then, I don't know what was going on, but someone wasn't controlling the clock or the bell because they started fighting. Then there was confusion, what's going on?
Yeah.
And
It's part of the game, when you're starting. But if you put eyes on you guys' fights, as many people, they have to. They won't be able to get away with stuff like that.
No. I mean, there's definitely been fights that have been reviewed and overturned. Like decisions have been overturned. It doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened in the past.
It doesn't happen in big fights, even if they get it wrong. It's that's what it is.
Yeah, there's too much money involved.
Yeah,
especially the bigger that they get.
And then you go into bets, and then you have to retreat bets. It just becomes too much of a headache.
That whole draw thing, though, I mean, I guess it's good on Kenny Larson's point because he's undefeated. So yeah, it's a draw, but it's not a loss.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about a draw would just aggravate me.
Yeah. You gotta fight. You gotta do it over.
Have a blemish on your record like that, a draw. Someone won. There's got to be a winner, man.
And if not, we got to run it back somehow. When you and I know it's too early in the game, but when you win, is there a specific? Do you have a ritual that you do? Do you celebrate some type of way? Do you eat your favorite food since you've probably been not eating what you want before the fight, or you go out and get drunk? It could be that.
Not really. I mean, I guess it all depends on where the fight is.
I know you guys had a party in Miami. I know that.
Not even. No, I'm really not. I'm not even. I don't smoke. I'm not. I don't really drink. So it kind of, I guess, depends where. After my pro debut, because it was my pro debut, and I won the way I did. I knocked them out in the third round. We went crazy after that fight. But all my other fights, it's just probably it's been go to someone's house, just hang out.
Well, that's
celebrate.
what I was gonna say. You Italians, you guys are cooking something. You guys are definitely.
But the last couple fights, Florida, I just hung out with my girlfriend, went back to the room, hung out. Then this fight, same thing. Just watched the rest of the fights. Granted, it got out late. Harry fight got done borderline like midnight.
Yeah.
It was late. So just went back to the room. Plus I was tired. But I guess it's all situational, where the fight is, who comes to the fight, what area we're in, If we're anywhere near home, yeah, probably go to a bar, go to someone's house. I'll have like a celebratory drink, but I'll do nothing too crazy.
Nice.
I mean, down the line, if we get like, we get some big fights, like we're in like
big paydays,
Vegas, Miami, of course I'm gonna celebrate. You gotta. I'm taking all of this in. Like that's why I did this. Like everything that I do, no matter how small, is all I'm gonna remember when I'm older. Like this is all one big journey. Like every poster I'm on, every podcast I do, every piece of media or whatever, it's all fun to me. It's all a blast, man.
Yeah, and if anything else is practice, at least a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
For when you do make it, all the way to the top and you're getting interviewed by big dudes. I always say this because, like I said, I do not have a background on this, and some of you guys are, you guys have 10 years, in your case, over 10 years invested in all, in your craft. And I feel like sometimes maybe there should be more outlets for people like you guys. Maybe I'm just learning. I'm like, I always tell people, look, this 13 episodes in, and it's terrible. Like the first few episodes, and a lot of people don't say it, but I'm critiquing it in a different way. I'm looking back and breaking down everything, to the pauses, to me, all the time on the mic, or all those little things.
That's what makes you appreciate when you do get to the level that you want, or a level that like you approve of, because you're doing your podcasting thing. I love podcasts. I watch a whole bunch, and you see some of the biggest podcasts around right now. They talk about, they look back at when they first started, and I'll have like the same thoughts. Like, but you got to start somewhere, and each time you do it, just like you said, it's all practice. You learn, you grow, you learn the ins and outs. You learn what to do, what not to do. Like, so you're gonna look back at like those first 13 episodes and be like, wow, look how much better we got. Like,
from then
with everything. Look how much better you got at speaking, at the production, at recording. Like, it's all fun, man.
It's part of the game.
Yeah,
man. Well, we've been at it for an hour and a half. Thank you very much, man. This was very, very fun, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully I could have all of you guys one by one, and I want to get all of you guys. Hopefully one day,
that'd
you,
be fun.
Gabi, all three of you guys, maybe watch a fight. Working on that.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Yeah, like add different elements to it. It doesn't always have to be after a fight or when a fight's coming. I think we'll make it work.
I love it, man. Chopping it up. It's a good time.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
EDJ Studios, the EDJ Podcast. Thank you.